Good afternoon. We're on the record at 12:55 p.m. on April 24th, 2017. This is the video recorded deposition of Ryan Bell. My name is David Bradley, here with our court reporter, Robin Biddle. We're here from Daretex Legal Solutions at the request of counsel for plaintiff. This deposition is being held at 20 Corporate Park in Irvine, California. The caption of this case is Lynn versus Bell. Will everyone present please introduce themselves, starting with the witness?
Ryan Bell.
Mitch Jackson, counsel for Mr. Bell, both on the answer to the complaint and on the First Amendment cross-complaint.
And I'm Steph Wiener. I'm the attorney for plaintiff and cross-defendant Mike Lynn.
Mike Lynn, plaintiff.
And will the court reporter please swear in the witness?
If you raise your hand, you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You don't need this.
All right, Mr. Bell, did you hear the admonitions that your attorney provided to Mr. Lynn earlier about deposition conduct?
I did.
All right, and do you understand those admonitions?
I do.
All right, and I'll just incorporate them by reference here. Are you under any medication or substance that would prevent you from giving accurate testimony today?
No.
Is there any other reason we can't go forward with your deposition?
No.
All right, could you state your full legal name for the record?
Ryan Anderson Bell.
And do you go by any other names online?
No.
And what is your date of birth?
2577.
And where were you born?
Monroe, Georgia.
All right, and what is your spouse's name?
Lynette.
You spell that?
Lynnette.
And what date were you married?
August. Hold on. I always mix up my kids' birthdays with her. August 22nd, 2013.
All right, and do you have any children?
I have two.
And how old are they?
2 and 3 now.
All right. I'm not going to ask their names.
Thank you so much.
How do you know your attorney, Mitch Jackson?
Through live video, actually.
All right, have you produced any live streams, videos, or other media for Mr. Jackson?
No.
How did you become acquainted with him through live media?
Social media, just friendly guy. Actually was friends with my wife first.
Apart from this lawsuit, has Mr. Jackson done any other legal work for you?
No.
And could you state your current address?
I would prefer not to.
You can contact the deponent through my law firm. In light of a stalking allegation and some of the other allegations referenced in our cross-complaint, as a matter of professional courtesy, I would ask that we use my law firm's address.
All right, I'll mark that as a refusal to respond, but we can confer about it. I understand your objection.
Okay. Although he does reside in Los Angeles, or Santa Monica, California?
That's correct.
All right. How long have you resided in Santa Monica?
A year and a half.
And what city did you reside in prior to then?
Berkeley, California.
What years did you live in Berkeley?
2000. Well, I was in Oakland. I moved to Berkeley. I only lived in Berkeley for 2012 to 2014, I think.
All right, and you're a graduate of West Virginia University?
That's correct.
And you obtained your bachelor's degree in marketing and advertising?
That's correct.
And do you also have a bachelor degrees from University of Georgia?
I do not.
All right. Was that incorrectly listed on a LinkedIn profile?
Yes, it was.
All right. Did you attend University of Georgia?
No, I did not.
Do you know how the error came to be?
No, I lived in...
Is your answer no?
No.
All right. Where are you currently employed?
Self-employed.
And what kind of work do you do being self-employed?
Virtual reality and social media.
When were you last employed by somebody other than yourself?
2014.
Do you recall where you received service to process it in this lawsuit?
I'm sorry?
Where you were served with the complaint?
Yes, at an office at VR Scout, 12575 Beatrice Avenue.
All right. What is VR Scout?
It's media, events, and production in virtual reality.
Is that your company?
No, it is not.
What are you employed by VR Scout?
I am considered a consultant there.
And you consult with them about virtual reality and social media?
Do training and workshops.
Is that the address where you work most days?
It is, yes.
All right. Are you also the CEO of a company called Backlamp LLC?
I was. That company has been sold.
Who is it sold to?
A company called LiveLeap.
What is LiveLeap?
It is a Facebook syndication software.
And when did that sale take place?
This year, it began February of this year and just recently closed.
All right. Was Backlamp LLC responsible for Periscope Summit New York?
It was.
All right. Was it also responsible for Periscope Summit SF?
Yes.
And was it responsible for Summit Live in LA?
Yes.
As part of the sale, do you continue to operate summits, or is that right transferred with Backlamp Summit?
Or is that what?
Is that right transferred with Backlamp Summit?
It's transferred.
All right. Are you going to be operating any more summit events in the future?
I will be a part of them, but I will not be in charge.
What was the sale price for the business?
$50,000 plus 10% of things moving forward.
All right. Well, was there supposed to be an event named Summit Live UK?
There was.
And was that canceled?
Yes, it was.
Why was it canceled?
If you know.
I don't know.
All right. And it's is it a correct description that Summit Live is a conference centered around non-traditional media?
Yes.
What is the company called VR Salon? Is that related to VR Scout?
VR, what was the first?
Salon, SALON.
No, it is not.
Are you also a 360 VR producer and film director at VR Salon?
No.
All right. Did you list that on your LinkedIn profile?
I don't know.
Did you have any relationship with VR Salon?
I created it. It's a Twitter handle, basically, and community.
All right. So it's not in an actual business entity as far as you know?
No, it's not.
What is Zero Moderation?
It is a nonprofit organization for recovering addicts.
All right. And you're a founder of Zero Moderation?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of addicts does it assist with recovery?
It is basically for anyone that has any dealings with alcohol, drug addiction, depression.
And what is your role as the founder?
That is not a very active event anymore. I just created it. It's just something that apparently is on LinkedIn.
All right. Did you personally have any alcohol or drug addiction issues in your past?
I did not.
Do you currently?
No.
What made you decide to be a founder of a drug and addiction recovery center?
My wife has a problem. Had a problem.
Were you ever arrested for underage drinking?
Yes, I was.
All right. Was there a conviction?
I don't know. I think it was a ticket.
All right. Do you have any other felony or misdemeanors convictions?
No.
And how old were you when you obtained when that ticket issued?
20?
All right. Was it in California or was it in Georgia or somewhere else?
Georgia.
All right. And were you also the regional director at Hypersoft Business Solutions from January 2008 to December 2012?
Yes.
What was the company that you were working at in 2014?
Insperity?
All right. What kind of company was that?
Basically insurance solutions for small businesses.
All right. How do you know my client, Mike Lynn? When did you first originally learn of him?
I was introduced to him, I believe, because of Scope Day. Limited memory on that one.
And what is your understanding of what Scope Day is?
A collection of Periscope enthusiasts doing timed events for one day.
Before today, had you ever seen Mr. Lynn in person?
Before what?
Today, had you ever seen Mr. Lynn in person?
No, I had not.
Had you ever communicated with him in live time?
Objection, vague and ambiguous. By lifetime.
I guess I meant real time, on the telephone or...
Telephone, yes. Way too many times.
In what context?
Sorry, I'm gonna ask you.
Nothing.
Your answer was yes?
Yes. Yes, sorry.
When was the first time you communicated with Mike Lynn via telephone?
I don't have recollection.
Do you know who initiated the call?
I don't recall.
Did you ever call Mike Lynn?
I believe I have, yes, in the past.
Do you recall approximately the first time you and Mr. Lynn had contact?
I do not.
Did you watch any of the live streams created by Mr. Lynn on Periscope?
Objection, vague and ambiguous as to time and scope.
At any time?
If you recall, if you understand this question.
Would you repeat the question?
Sure. Have you ever watched on Periscope any live streams that were created by Mr. Lynn?
Under Scope Day or just Mike Lynn being live?
Either of those.
Yes.
Have you read any materials that were drafted by Mr. Lynn online?
Objection, vague and ambiguous.
What websites, postings on social media sites?
Same objection, and I'm placing that objection to preserve my right to do so at time of trial. If you understand the question, you can answer it.
Next question.
Well, I would like an answer to that, whether you read any of his materials. As I defined it, I think I said websites, social media postings.
I have.
Which materials did you read?
Tweets on his Scope Day Twitter account and the Scope Day website are what I'm familiar with.
All right. Were you a follower of Mr. Lynn on his Twitter account?
Yes, I was.
All right. Did you likewise have your own Twitter account?
Of course.
And was Mr. Lynn a follower of your account?
Yes.
Does either of you, to the best of your knowledge, still remain a follower of the other?
I do not believe so.
All right. Is it fair to say that Mr. Lin operates in the same general industry that you do?
No.
What do you view as the differences between your respective industries?
I run physical events.
Do you also produce live streams on Periscope?
Occasionally I do, yes.
All right, and it's correct that Mr. Lin also produces live streams on Periscope?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Is it fair to say that you're in the same industry, at least as to live streams on Periscope?
No.
Why not?
It's like saying we're in the same business if we both post things on Facebook. I use multiple social media assets. I specialize in many. So no.
And you specialize in what?
In many social media platforms.
All right, on or about February 11th or 12th, 2016, did you post a 12-minute long video stream about Mr. Lin on Periscope?
Do you understand the question?
I don't know.
Around February 11th or 12th, 2016, I'll break it out. Did you at some point post a video stream about Mr. Lin on Periscope?
I did, yes.
Do you recall the date that you posted it?
I do not.
When was the last time you watched the video?
Objection, vague and ambiguous as to the term the video.
The video stream, the one that was posted on Periscope.
I didn't watch it.
All right. Did you read the transcription of the recording that was produced in this action?
Objection, it lacks foundation, the transcript lacks authenticity, and if you're representing to the deponent that that transcript is a transcript of the Periscope, I believe that's a miscorrect or inaccurate representation.
All right. What I'll do first is I'll show you the YouTube video that's posted, which our position is that's the same as the Periscope. I'd like you to watch and let me know if you believe that it's materially, if it's different in any respects from the Periscope video that you posted.
Are we doing this with me record? We have to see what we're doing with me.
We can take you off the record. I don't need you to transcribe it.
So close off the record for this. Yes, to agree.
Sure, let me just place an objection on the record because I have no idea what you're going to be showing the deponent. So I'll place an objection that it lacks foundation, authenticity, it assumes facts not in evidence. I'll object that it's under the best evidence rule and everything else in between.
But you're going to run the video.
Yes, I am. And I'll represent that it's a...
Tell me when to go off.
Stay on for one moment. It's a video on youtube.com. Watch $V equals OWT RX3 MT 5T0 ampersand T equals 344S. And it's a caption, Ryan A. Bell defames Mike Lin, evidence for the Lin versus Bell lawsuit. Off the record.
So you just want him to watch it?
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard it. Yes. In the background,
Can you hear it?
I can.
we have been working to quiet the founder of Springfield. Thank you.
So this should not be on the audio
In the background.
or the video.
It is on audio.
All right, stop the video.
Very unhealthy human charge of that offense.
Please. If the video,
Right now, you have no record here and record here, so you might want him to go off right now too.
Right, that's
So
what
we're
I'm
both
trying to get at.
concurrent.
we're either on the record or we're off the record.
All right, we could take them both off the record.
Yeah.
Going off the record, the time is 1:16 p.m. Back on the record, the time is 1:24 p.m.
All right, Mr. Bell, from the portion of the video you saw, was that an accurate video of you discussing Mr. Lin?
Do you have a question?
I don't know how to approach that.
Are those your words coming out? Is that you depicted in the video? Are you the one speaking?
So with respect, because the question's being asked to the video, let me place an objection. Once again, the video lacks authenticity, foundation, doesn't comply with the best evidence rule. Having said that, you can answer the question if you understand the question.
Okay. That looks like me. Yeah, that's me.
Is that you speaking in the video?
Yes.
Do you believe any of the words were altered or modified?
I honestly don't know.
Were you reading from a script when you made the video?
I was not.
Did you have any notes of what you were going to say?
I did not.
I'm going to mark as Exhibit 1 transcript of the recording, a portion of which was just shown to Mr. Bell. And Mr. Bell, if you'd like to have a look at it.
Not particularly.
He may be asking you questions about it. So I'll place an objection to exhibit number 1, that it lacks authenticity, foundation, doesn't comply with the best evidence rule, assumes facts not in evidence. That's for the record.
Have you read this transcript prior to today?
I have not.
Can I ask that you do so? It's about 8 pages long, so we can go off the record while you read it.
Do you want to break it down into sections, or are you going to ask a big general global question?
I'm going to ask both global and specific questions about the statements made therein.
So are you using this document to refresh his recollection about something?
Right. I just want him to remember if this is his video or if he believes it's not an accurate transcription of what he stated on that day. I'd like him to know that as well.
Okay, because you can ask those questions without him looking at
I just
the
watched the
document in
video.
front of you.
Well,
But it's your deposition.
I want to have a record that is a accurate transcription of the video that I just showed him as well. I mean, I don't think it should be controverted that it's an actual, but you're objecting based on best evidence. I'm trying to lay a foundation for it. I'm not sure how else to go about it.
Right, so I'll place my objection. It's your deposition. I'll let you ask any questions you want. My objection is it lacks foundation, authenticity, best evidence rule, assumes facts not in evidence, probably in addition to other evidence issues. So if counsel wants you to look at that, then go ahead and look at it.
All right. Have you reviewed the transcript?
I have.
Do you believe it's an accurate transcript of your oral statements?
It seems to represent what was on video.
Do you believe the video was an accurate recording of you speaking?
I do not. I do not recall that. I just don't know if that video is completely untampered with. I don't know the source of that video at all.
Do you have any original copies of the video?
No, that was not. That was a private video.
Where was the video broadcast?
Periscope.
All right, and you don't have any recordings of it in your own possession, custody, or control?
No, it's just what he's
Is your
put
answer
on.
yes or no?
No.
Are there any specific statements that are contained in the video or the transcript that you believe you did not make?
I don't know.
Do you believe that Mr. Bell somehow transcribed?
Mr. Lin, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, that Mr. Lin somehow changed your monologue from the video?
Objection calls for speculation as to what Mr. Lin did or didn't do. It also assumes facts, not evidence, because apparently somebody else transcribed some video.
All right, do you agree that from the video you watched that is an accurate transcription of the video that was on YouTube?
That is an accurate transcription of the video that I just watched.
All right, and you're not sure if the video that you posted on Periscope is the same as the video you saw on YouTube?
I am positive it is not the same video that I posted on Periscope.
And what makes you positive about that?
None of the engagement or comments or anything were on there. And it also was very jumpy and jerky, and it had a lot of places where things were cut out and blurred. It was a very odd video if you look at it.
Do you recall how long the video was that you created on February 2016 about Mr. Lin?
I do not.
Do you believe this video was edited?
Don't guess. It calls for speculation. Objection calls for speculation.
I don't recall it.
What materials do you believe were added to the video that you didn't have in the original video?
This was a year and a half ago. I don't know.
Who recorded the video?
What video?
The one that you posted on Periscope?
Oh, I did. It was directly to Periscope, and then it was deleted.
And what date did you delete it?
The exact same day, right after I did it.
How many hours was it posted online?
Less than 3, probably less than 2.
All right, who actually recorded it, though? Was there someone other than you holding the camera?
It was my phone on a mount, I believe. I have multiple mounts because I do multiple periscopes, or did. I don't anymore thanks to trolling.
All right, at the end of the video, somebody says, quote, "And we're done. Okay, that was boring as shit." Is that you speaking or somebody else?
Objection assumes facts, not evidence. It assumes he recalls saying anything during this video.
I don't recall.
Do you recall if you were alone when the video was made?
My wife was in the living room. That was in the living room. My wife was reading. Living room.
All right, she wasn't involved in shooting the video, though.
Not at all. No.
You thanked, on page 7 of the transcription, you said, "Thank you, Amber. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jenna." Who were you speaking to?
Objection assumes facts, not evidence.
Did you make those statements?
I don't recall.
Do you know someone named Amber?
I do know multiple people named Amber.
Do you recall why you would have, if this... All right, so is it your testimony that nobody was present for the recording of the video except for you?
In the room? Except for my wife.
All right, and she didn't record the video, though, is your testimony?
That's correct.
Why did you decide to take down the video after about 3 hours?
I had said what I needed to say.
Why did you need to make any statements about Mr. Lin?
I'm sorry?
Why did you need to make any statements about Mr. Lin?
I had been approached by multiple females who he was harassing.
Who were those females?
I would definitely prefer not to say in present company.
There are persons who made accusations against my client. I believe I'm entitled to their names.
I am not a danger.
But
Pardon,
Mr.
I'm
Mr.
sorry, repeat that. I need you to repeat what you said.
I said I am not a danger.
So, Mr. Bell, if you recall the names of the individuals counsel asked you about, it's perfectly acceptable for you to respond to his question, if you recall their names. Otherwise, counsel will get a court order and a judge will order you to answer the question. So if you recall their names, you can share them with counsel. If you don't recall their names, then just let counsel know. And if you want to take a break and talk about it, we can do that too.
I do not want to give names of any females in front of Michael Lynn.
The deposition's being recorded, and I mean, to the extent they've made accusations against my client, he is entitled to know who they are. They're potentially witnesses.
They're potentially in danger too.
Why don't we take a quick break and let me
Right.
talk to my client.
Going off the record, the time is 1:35 p.m. Back on the record, the time is 1:39 p.m.
All right, who are the women who complained to you that they were harassed by Mr. Lin?
Liza Morales. There were a few. Jenny Q.
How do you spell Q?
It's I don't know. It's a social media handle. I can't remember at the moment. Just Jenny Q is one of them.
Are you saying Jenny?
Yeah, Jenny Jenny. I'm pretty sure. Amber Plaster. I can't remember her last name. There's a few more. I can't remember their names. Those are the ones that I remember offhand. I'd have to look up and go back through emails for all the complaints.
Right, did they send you any emails specifically regarding Mr. Lin?
A lot of them were phone calls, actually.
All right, are there any email records, records of emails you received from third persons concerning harassing conduct by Mr. Lin?
Twitter DMs, probably not any emails. I don't think I can produce any emails.
Are you able to produce Twitter DMs?
More than likely, I probably can.
All right, we would like those. What type of complaints did Ms. Morales make against Mr. Lin?
Oh, this is so long ago. The racist remarks, trolling, just general harassment was the entire theme of Mr. Lin.
And that was the common complaint among all the women?
Some were sexual advances, or unwelcome sexual advances, especially with younger women.
What kind of sexual advances?
Just making lewd, inappropriate conducts to people that were either married or very young.
Were any of them under the age of 18?
Yes.
Which ones?
Can't remember the name.
Why did these persons make complaints to you?
Seen as a
Objection, it calls for speculation. You can answer the question if you understand it.
I led the conference, and I'm seen as a community leader, I think.
What conference are you referring to?
The Summit Conference and Periscope Summit.
Was Mr. Lin a participant in that conference?
No, he was
Is your
not.
answer yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
So there were 3 different conferences.
Was Mr. Lin a participant in any Summit Live conferences?
He was.
Which one?
The San Francisco.
Do you have any, most of these communications were via telephone or via Twitter?
That's correct.
Did you tell any of the women that you would take any kind of action against Mr. Lin?
No.
Did you ask any of them to watch this video?
No.
Do you have a fullscope.tv account?
I had one at one time. I don't know if it's still valid or used.
When did you have the fullscope TV account?
I don't know. 2015 but I don't think I only used it maybe twice. It's just a metrics tool, I believe.
Do you know if it produces recordings of live streams?
I don't think it does.
What was the process by which you uploaded the live stream about Mr. Lin onto Periscope?
Objection as to the term upload. I think that incorrectly describes how the Periscope app works. But having placed that objection on the record, you can answer the question.
It was directly done through Periscope, which is a video app.
All right, so it's recorded by a telephone?
Telephone, that's correct.
Does that actually produce a recording, or does it transmit directly to Periscope?
It transmits directly to Periscope. At the time, the recording lasts for 24 hours.
The recording lasts for 24 hours on your telephone?
On Periscope, and then it was deleted. But I deleted it way prior to that 24-hour mark.
What kind of phone did you use to?
iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, probably 6 Plus.
All right, and there's no recording of the video you created on that telephone?
No, sir.
Why did you choose to delete the video?
Because I said what I needed to say.
And that was to protect the woman?
Yes.
How do you protect them, though, if you delete the video several hours after making it?
Objection argumentative. You can answer the question if you understand it.
Repeat the question.
Well, how specifically did the video protect the women who allegedly complained about Mr. Lin?
If a few of the people that followed me knew, then they would be able to, knowledge is power.
Did you intend that other people would rebroadcast the video?
No.
Do you know how many people viewed the video in the 3 hours that it was online?
I have no idea.
Is it correct? Do you believe that more people would have viewed the video had it been left online for longer than 3 hours?
Objection calls for speculation.
I don't know.
Where did you obtain the information that you stated about Mr. Lin in the video?
Objection, vague and ambiguous. What information are you referring to?
All right.
When you use the word stated.
For example, at the time you made the video, did you believe that Mr. Lin had worked at LinkedIn?
That's a separate question than what may or may not be on the video.
I'll go through each of the statements.
That'd be good.
All right.
Counsel, the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is the deponent doesn't recall what was or was not said on the Periscope video. So I don't know if you're asking him about that or what in the documentation that you handed to him earlier in the deposition, or is this just an open-ended question?
I'm going to refer to the transcription that's there, but if you don't believe you made the statement, you can state that as well.
Or recall making the statement.
Right. All right. Do you recall making a statement in your video that, in the live stream, that Mr. Lin is, quote, a felon?
I don't recall.
Do you have reason to believe that Mr. Lin is a felon?
I don't recall. I had a lot of conversations with Mr. Lin.
You mean as he sits here today?
As you sit here today, do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Lin is a felon?
I don't recall.
Do you recall if in the live stream you made a statement that Mr. Lin is, quote, mentally disturbed?
I don't recall.
Do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Lin is mentally disturbed?
I do.
What is that basis?
His admission of being 5150 multiple times and institutionalized, and his personal conversations via telephone with me about his mental issues.
And why did you think it was necessary to rebroadcast those?
Objection, that assumes facts not in evidence.
All right, I understand the objection.
And it's argumentative. You don't have to answer that last question.
In February 2016, did you believe Mr. Lin was mentally disturbed?
I do. I still do.
Do you believe he's a psychopath?
Could you define psychopath for me?
Is that a word that you've used in reference to Mr. Lin?
I don't recall using that word.
Do you recall using the word sociopath to refer to Mr. Lin?
I don't recall using that word either.
Do you recall ever saying that Mr. Lin is, quote, not allowed in America?
I don't recall.
In February 2015, or as we sit here, in February 2015, did you have any reason to believe that Mr. Lin was not allowed in America?
15 or 16?
16, I'm sorry, thank you.
That's right.
Mr. Lin did tell me that he was taken out of America so that he would not be institutionalized. That's directly from a phone call with Mr. Lin.
Did you believe there was a court order or some kind of judicial or legislative process that forbid Mr. Lin from re-entering America?
From my understanding from Mr. Lin, he needed to be away from the USA so that he wouldn't be institutionalized. From a phone conversation directly with Mr. Lin.
All right. Did you also, did you make a statement that in February 2016 that, to the effect that a lot of sex bots are Mr. Lin?
I don't recall.
Do you know what a sex bot is?
A fake account that is like a Russian, has a Russian sexy name, I believe. Mr. Lin had admitted to me about having multiple accounts that he used to harass people or troll people on Twitter.
Do you recall if any of those accounts were sex bots?
All I know is he has, multiple accounts for the express purpose of trolling and harassing.
What do you mean by express purpose? Did Mr. Lin tell you that was the express purpose of the accounts was to use them to harass people?
He told me that he used them to harass people.
Did he ever personally use any accounts to harass you?
It is a very safe assumption, yes.
Do you have any concrete information that he did use his accounts to harass you?
I don't recall. I stopped being on Periscope because of Mr. Lin. I very rarely broadcast because of him.
When did you stop being on Periscope?
I'd say I broadcast maybe once a month now. I used to broadcast daily.
All right. In February 2016, did you know that Mike Lin had worked at LinkedIn?
I did. He says it often.
All right. Did you make a statement that Mike Lin used LinkedIn information to gain mortgage information?
I don't recall.
Do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Lin did use LinkedIn to get people's mortgage information?
As we sit here today?
Yes.
So that question excludes any information you've received from counsel, from my office, on that issue. Just so we're clear, it's protected by attorney-client product. Attorney-client privilege and attorney-work product.
Right.
So you can answer counsel's question if you're able to.
A female reached out to me saying that he'd gotten her physical address and was threatening to throw a party at her house. Of course, this was a person that did not want to have a social party at her house, but that was a threat that Mike Lynn threatened her with.
Do you know if that information, her physical address, somehow came from LinkedIn?
She said that he told her it was from LinkedIn.
Do you know if LinkedIn, based on your knowledge, provides physical addresses for individuals?
I don't know. I don't think it does. I don't know.
All right. Do you know if LinkedIn provides phone numbers for individuals?
Yes, it does.
That's in their account profiles?
You have the option to put your phone number in.
All right. Did you claim that Mr. Lynn used LinkedIn privileges to get the telephone numbers?
I don't recall.
Do you recall if Mike Lynn had some special privileges at LinkedIn after he stopped working there?
Hey, Mike Lynn told me. Yes, Mike Lynn told me that he had special LinkedIn privileges.
When did you have that discussion with Mr. Lynn?
I don't recall the exact dates. This was a long time ago.
Did you ever make any statements that Mr. Lynn had run away to Taiwan so he would not be committed for being a danger to his own family?
I don't recall.
Do you recall if you ever made any statements that Mr. Lynn was hiding out in Taiwan in his parents' basement?
I don't recall.
Do you know what kind of residence Mr. Lynn's parents had in Taiwan?
I don't recall or care.
So if that statement was made by you that he is hiding out in Taiwan in his parents' basement, you didn't care if it was true or not?
I don't recall saying that.
Objection calls for speculation, assumes facts not in evidence, argumentative.
At the time prior to posting a video about Mr. Lynn on Periscope, what efforts, if any, did you make to verify the accuracy of any statements you made?
Objection assumes facts and evidence, lacks foundation, assumes the deponent recalls statements made. I think he's testified he doesn't recall. So how can he answer questions about something he doesn't recall?
Do you recall posting some video about Mr. Lynn in early February 2016?
I do.
And you recalled making some statements about Mr. Lynn, correct?
I do.
Do you recall what efforts, if any, you made to verify that any of the statements were true?
Everything I've said about Mike Lynn has come basically directly from Mike Lynn.
And do you have, when you say it came from Mr. Lynn, did it come from oral conversations with Mr. Lynn, or did it come from emails or Twitter?
Mostly oral conversations.
Do you have any way of tracking how many people viewed the Periscope stream that you created?
There's zero way of telling.
It's a yes or no question.
No, I have no way to track.
Do you know if the video stream's been republished on any other websites besides YouTube?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence, that it was republished. You can answer the question.
Ask the question one more time.
Do you know if it's been republished on any websites?
Same objection.
I don't.
At the time you posted the video, did you believe that Mr. Lin was emotionally vulnerable?
I believe Mr. Lin has been emotionally vulnerable since the first day I talked to him.
All right. Did you consider what impact the posting the live stream might have on his psyche?
I did.
What did you think the impact would be?
I have hoped that Mike Lin will get off of social and get actual help for a very long time. His problem is that he's trying to be on social instead of getting help.
Did you create this live stream with the hope that it would encourage him to obtain mental health services?
I would love to see that. I told him that multiple times prior to him attacking me.
How do you believe Mr. Lin attacked you?
Harassing me via live stream, making fake Bitly accounts to drive traffic and drive money away from my business, saying bad things about me on social, all these things that I can handle.
When you put the live stream on Periscope, did you put it for a public or a private broadcast?
I believe that I put it private. At the time I had 17,000 followers.
How many followers do you have now on Periscope?
21,000. It's just like Twitter.
You answered his question.
Sorry.
Do you regret having posted the Periscope live stream concerning Mr. Lin?
I do.
Why do you regret it?
I had hoped that it would help people and not harm Mike. And I would prefer to not be here right now.
Did you make any efforts to apologize to Mr. Lin before this lawsuit was filed, but after the live stream was posted or went on Periscope?
Apologize for what reason?
You're
So objection, argumentative.
You said correct that you regretted having posted the live stream on Periscope, correct?
I did.
Did you apologize to Mr. Lin for having posted it?
No.
Was there a reason why you didn't?
Mr. Lin has never once let up on attacking me.
And how do you think Mr. Lin attacked you prior to February 2017?
The Bitly link that was a direct way to take money away from my business, attacking me via alternate accounts on my social, sending me odd emails with quotes and song lyrics that were threatening, like "For Whom the Bell Tolls" and "Number One with a Bullet." Lots and lots of threatening, scary things that scared me and my wife.
How did Mr. Lin specifically attack you on social media accounts?
Tweeting things. I think he had the hashtag "For Whom the Bell Tolled," which is really scary when you know that someone is disturbed and they're sending you things about death to you and your family. It's scary.
Did you seek any kind of temporary restraining order against Mr. Lin?
I called the police and I had to move.
When did you contact the police?
When he was at the same event as my wife, and also when he was outside of my office.
What event did Mr. Lin... I'll get to this after, actually. Did you tell any persons to delete Mr. Lin's Scope Day account?
I do not recall.
Did you tell any persons to block Mr. Lin's Scope Day account?
I do not recall that.
Do you have a belief one way or another as to whether you did that?
Objection. The question's been asked and answered. He doesn't recall.
I don't recall.
All right. Did you review the first amended cross-complaint in this action prior to it being filed?
I don't recall that sounds kind of legal mumbo jumbo to me.
Do you recall that you filed a cross-complaint?
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah, I do recall.
All right. Did you review it prior to it being filed?
Yes, I did.
Did you believe the statements or the allegations in the first amended cross-complaint were true and accurate?
Yes.
What threatening and disgusting remarks do you believe Mr. Lin made about you?
Mr. Lin is... I don't like repeating things that he says on live stream, but usually it's about raping children or raping pigs or some type of anal raping and bleeding. That's Mr. Lin's go-to.
When did he allegedly make statements to that effect?
I don't recall. 2016. Like I said, I don't really go on Periscope much anymore because of that.
How do you know the statements were made by Mr. Lin?
Tracking which accounts, if you look at his accounts, a lot of them will have a fist as the profile picture, and he does the same thing to other people. So you can usually tell by bloody child rape or pig rape or anal sex that it's Mike Lin.
Are there any specific accounts where you believe he used to make statements to that effect?
He admits to having 500 something accounts. I believe he has more. There's no telling which account, if it's the sex TV or the whatever account. I don't know.
How do you know any account specifically associated with Mr. Lin was used to make any statements to that effect, though?
A lot of times he will even call himself out and say that it's Mike Lin. So you can track which accounts he's saying it on. Most people know.
Do you have any screenshots of an account making a statement about anal sex that is an account that you believe is Mr. Lin?
I don't know if I do or not. I may.
All right, and you were requested to produce all documents regarding the allegations in your first amended in your cross complaint, correct?
Yes.
When did you make a police report concerning Mr. Lin?
I don't recall the dates. It was. I can probably find it out because of the event.
Did they provide any? Did the police provide any? Which police department did you refer to?
Santa Monica.
Did they provide any incident report or case number to you?
I don't think so.
Was any report made about the complaint?
I don't recall.
Was there a specific police officer who investigated the allegations?
I don't recall his name.
Was any arrest warrant issued?
No, I didn't pursue.
Did Mr. Lin ever tell you to prepare for hell?
Yes.
When did he make that statement to you?
Shortly after the San Francisco summit event. I remember the very scary things.
What was the context in which he made that statement?
This was during a barrage of madness during all the times that he sent me the song lyrics. There's really not much context to or rhyme or reason to what was happening then. I was just scared.
Did you understand that Mr. Lin was threatening you with litigation, or you interpreted it as something else?
He was threatening me with. I thought he was threatening me with my life. Prepare for hell, for whom the bell tolls. I felt fearful for my family and for myself.
And did he make that statement in writing, or was that verbally?
Verbally, and there are some in writing of song lyrics and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen the song lyrics, but the specific statement, prepare for hell, was that via email, Twitter, some
I
other
believe
media?
it was Twitter. I don't recall exactly, but like those were the word tracks.
Was that statement made directly to you or to your attorney?
I don't recall.
Did Mr. Lin threaten to spend $10,000 on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn to harm you?
Yes, he did.
Did you understand that was a threat of physical harm, or that he would post statements about you?
That was a threat of social media harm. That was not anything that I was scared of bodily harm.
All right. You also claim Mr. Lin made harassing telephone calls to you?
Yes.
When do you recall what telephone number he used for those telephone calls?
Multiple different phone numbers.
Do you have any telephone records that indicate what was your receiving number on those calls?
415-939-7210.
That was the only number that you allegedly received calls on from Mr. Lin?
That's correct.
Do you have any telephone account records relating to that telephone number?
I mean, of course, I have every month's bill.
Who's the carrier on it?
Verizon?
Is it a cellular phone?
Yes.
Are you able to produce those telephone records? You can redact any telephone numbers that you don't believe were calls from Mr. Lin from it.
Before you answer that question, make sure you got the document. Otherwise, they can get them directly from Verizon. I don't want you to make a promise, then go home and realize you don't have the documents.
I don't have the documents. You go get them from Verizon, right?
I don't know. I'm not answering the question for you. I just want to make sure if you represent the council, you've got the documents, then make sure you've got them.
Well, what I'm trying to do is preserve your privacy. I can certainly subpoena the records from Verizon,
Okay.
but then it's going to show the phone numbers of persons I don't care about, and you probably don't want me to know who else you're getting calls from. I'll represent to you that if you go into your account with Verizon, it'll let you download probably about at least a year, possibly 2 years of cell phone records that shows any calls you received.
Can I interject and say that I think that this would be not a really difficult thing to do, because there's so many different numbers that call me. It would be impossible to say, hey, this is where this happened.
So why don't we back up and let council ask a question, since this is just a deposition.
My fault, yeah.
We're not producing documents today.
Okay,
And let's start over.
sorry.
How long were the telephone calls typically that you received from Mr. Lin?
The regular, normal conversations back when we were friends.
During what period of time were you friends? I haven't heard you use that term previously in reference to Mr. Lin.
Probably 3 months prior to the January event in 2016. So I would say I was very kind and nice to Mr. Lin at that point in time.
All right. And excluding phone calls during that period, but the harassing phone calls began in about January 2016?
Directly after the event.
And how long were those calls typically?
They were only prank calls. They were short calls that I'd hang up on.
Did you ever seek to block any telephone numbers during that time period?
I did. I continue to. He has he's harassed me a whole lot.
Do you believe that Mr. Lin continues to call you?
I do.
How frequently?
I don't know.
Did you accuse Mr. Lin of adding your telephone number to call list?
I did.
Which call list were you referring to?
I don't think that there is a universal call list. I think that there are multiple call lists that Mr. Lin has put me on.
Telemarketing call list?
Yeah, fun stuff.
How many call lists do you estimate you've been added to?
Dozens. I had to get another phone number.
Have you sought to have your old phone number added to the do not call list?
I have.
All right, and that didn't prevent the calls?
You know it doesn't.
Can you provide a couple of examples of call lists that you believe you were added to?
Student loan, cash for gold, you name it, I'm on it.
Is your current phone number unlisted?
No, it's, I don't know if it's listed or not. I don't know.
Is there any reason?
Make sure you speak up so the court
sorry.
can hear you.
My fault.
We're good.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't get an unlisted telephone number if you believe that Mr. Lin was?
My new phone number is unlisted.
All right.
I think it's the one that I've got now is.
Did you also accuse Mr. Lin of stalking your wife at a rally?
I did.
Had Mr. Lin ever met your wife?
No, but he'd never met me either.
But you were a prominent on social media, correct?
That's why he's after me, yes.
All right. Is your wife prominent on social media?
People know who she is.
Can she be, is her photograph online?
Yes.
And with her name?
Yes.
Which was the rally that you believe Mr. Lin stalked your wife at?
And there's a Bernie Sanders rally.
In what time frame?
2016. Gosh, I don't know. Between.
If you don't know, say so. I don't want you to spend time guessing.
I don't know.
Speculating.
A Sanders rally in 2016.
What makes you believe he was stalking her?
It was around the same time that he was outside of my office stalking me.
You testified earlier that you were friends in. This was after February 2016.
I'm sorry?
Do you recall approximately when the rally was?
Yeah, February. It was after February 2016.
How many people were at the rally?
I don't know, 500,000, 2,000, I don't know.
Were you at the rally?
I was not.
Who was at the rally with your wife?
My wife went alone. If I remember correctly, I was taking care of the children so that she could go.
Do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Lin attended the rally for the purpose of stalking your wife?
I do.
What is that?
He lives in San Francisco, and he was down here stalking and harassing me at the same time period. So he also must have taken time to stalk and harass my wife as well.
All right. You're also aware that Mr. Lin does have a residence in Los Angeles?
I thought his permanent residence not in San Francisco?
He has two different residences.
This one's an Airbnb that he doesn't stay at, if I remember correctly.
I'm not going to testify on his behalf, but...
His permanent residence is in the Bay Area. He was down here to harass me, and then he used the other time to harass my wife as well.
Did he approach your wife at the rally?
I don't know.
Did he say anything to your wife at the rally?
I don't think so.
Had your wife announced an intention beforehand to attend the rally?
I'm
Yes.
sorry, can you repeat that?
Had your wife announced an intention beforehand to attend the rally?
She did.
Where did she announce that intention?
Facebook, I believe.
And what specific harassing conduct did Mr. Lin engage in at the rally, according to your wife?
I saw that he was posting that he was there.
So he posted that he attended the rally.
And via social, I was told that he was there as well.
Did he approach your wife at the rally?
I don't believe so.
Did he do anything to harass her at the rally?
In this situation, wouldn't you be a little bit concerned if you were at home with your children and your wife were someone that wanted to cause you and your family harm?
Wouldn't you assume that if he was going to stalk her, he would do it at a private place? You said there was...
That's why we moved.
But you said there was somewhere between 500 to a couple of thousand people at the rally. Do you know if there was police presence at the rally?
There's police presence at all rallies.
So just try to answer the
Yes,
question.
sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, there was police presence at the rally.
Is it possible that Mr. Lin attended the rally for some purpose other than harassing your wife?
Everything's possible, yes.
He didn't actually engage in any harassing conduct other than attending a public rally for Bernie Sanders, correct?
That's correct.
Is it your understanding that Mr. Lin is a liberal on politics?
I did not, I don't know.
Do you know if he's a Republican or Democrat?
From what I know of him, I know that he's more Democrat than Republican.
All right, so it's possible that he attended the Bernie Sanders rally to see Bernie, correct?
It's possible, but not probable.
Well, if he wanted to harass your wife, wouldn't he have approached her?
Well,
Assuming-
let's not engage in speculation and argue. You guys are just both speculating as to why or why not. You're free to do so, counsel. It doesn't matter.
All right, did you create a ticket special on January 22nd, 2016 for a 2017 event?
I do so many ticket specials. I just don't know. Sure.
All right, do you recall if around that time frame you were creating a ticket special for Summit Live?
What time period was this?
January 2016.
More than likely, yes.
All right, and you're accused Mr. Lin of having created a link that was similar to yours?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Do you know of any law prohibiting Mr. Lin from creating a similar link?
Objection calls for an expert opinion from a lay witness, calls for a legal conclusion. You can answer the question yes or no.
I don't know about legal processes. That's why we hire lawyers.
Did you receive any complaints about the link?
I did.
Who made complaints?
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Do you recall what was the difference between the link that Mr. Lin created and your original link?
A single capital letter.
And how does Bitly work? Typically, if I type in a web address, the capitalization doesn't matter, does it?
On Bentley it does.
All right.
He was very smart and put a lowercase s to direct traffic away from the one way that I make money.
All right, and did you still proceed to host the summit? Where was this summit event?
Sorry, which?
It was for Summit 2017.
Oh yeah, the event happened in Los Angeles.
What date?
January.
If you recall.
I don't recall. February 22nd to the 24th.
Of 2016 or 17?
The 2017 event happened February 22nd to the 24th.
I'm sorry, can you read that back? Just want to make sure I was clear.
The event happened February 22nd through 24th.
Of 2017?
That's correct.
All right, so you were advertising the 2017 Summit Live in early 2016?
That's correct. That's how conferences
Your answer
usually
to
work.
yes or no
Yes.
question.
All right. And just to anticipate what your testimony was going to be, you said that typically conferences would be organized, or ticket sales would begin over a year in advance.
That's correct.
Do you know how long Mr. Lin left up the similar link?
I have no idea.
Do you know if it was taken down at any point?
I do not know if it was taken down or not.
Did you create a different link entirely at some point?
I don't recall.
How did you determine that you lost $8,500 in ticket sales as a result of this?
Very large amount of ticket sales are sold after the end of a conference when people are most excited. The year prior, we sold, I believe, 20,000 in ticket sales, right around when we were doing that. It's very common practice for conferences to use the excitement of the event that's going on to sell tickets to the next one.
All right. So the ticket sales for, do you have any documents recording the number of ticket sales for Summit 2016?
Yeah, yes I do.
What was the total attendance for Summit 2016?
Estimated 700 something.
And how much was each ticket? $250 or $299. I don't recall exactly. How many people attended Summit 2017?
650.
And do you recall what the ticket price was?
250.
Do you know how many of the persons were repeat attenders?
You know, I do not know that.
So your estimate of $8,500 lost was based on the difference in attendance between Summit 2016 and Summit 2017?
No.
How did you come at the number of $8,500?
How many we usually sell during that time frame? The dates that Mr. Lin put up the Bitly link.
You testified earlier, though, that you weren't sure what dates the Bitly link was put up by Mr. Lin.
I didn't know when they were taken down.
What date was it put up?
Basically, right when I put up the special, I remember that. I'm really bad with dates, though.
You're claiming mental and emotional distress and physical suffering as a result of Mr. Lin's actions?
Yes.
What type of mental or emotional distress?
It's very stressful having somebody harassing you, calling your phone, having to remember to turn off your phone every time you go to bed. Especially when you have small children and you might be out of town.
Have you sought any treatment for, would you describe it as general anxiety, depression? Have you consulted with any mental health practitioner about it?
I unfortunately have not, no.
Have you had any actual physical pain?
Well, my dentist, I've been grinding my teeth, which I've never done. I don't sleep. It's just been a very hard ordeal.
Is there a condition associated with grinding your teeth? Or?
I think it's a mixture of stress and anger.
All right. I'm just wondering if there's a medical term for it. I was thinking, I forgot the TKJ. What is it?
Oh, TMJ?
TMJ.
No, that's just stress.
Have you had to get any dental work done as a result?
I'm going to have to. I am, truly.
What is the name of your dentist?
Dr. E. Guerra, Guerra. I'm going to go see a periodontist. I'm 40 years old. It sucks. I don't want this stress.
And have you been prescribed any medications or treatments?
I have not.
Has Mr. Lin ever made any effort to contact your children?
No.
All right, and they've not suffered any emotional distress as a result of anything he's done or not done?
They're not part of the case.
All right.
I'll stipulate to that.
Has your wife had any symptomology different than what you described? Has she had any emotional distress as a result of Mr. Lin?
She keeps a butcher knife at the front door.
Keeps a what?
Butcher knife.
It's correct that Mr. Lin's never tried coming to your personal residence, though, at any time?
We moved.
Prior to you moving, did he ever try coming to your personal residence?
No, but when he was outside of my office, I realized that he didn't know boundaries or understand respect for other people.
What was the circumstance where he came outside your office?
Celebrating that he was back in America, apparently.
Why don't we take a 5-minute break? I'm
Sure.
probably pretty close to that.
Sure. Let's do it.
Going off the record, the time is 2:30 p.m.
What's your...
Back on the record, the time is 2:41 p.m.
On your interrogatory responses, you listed Liza Morales and Lynette Bell as witnesses. We've discussed them already, but who's Hannah Bro?
An influencer in Austin, Texas. She runs dog grooming and dog sitting services.
All right.
Nice young lady.
What's her connection with Mr. Lin?
Just has been affected by him being around, trolling her, and she reached out saying that she wanted to help if needed be.
And how did Mr. Lin allegedly troll her?
I don't recall. It's been so many stories.
All right, who's Carrie Long?
Carrie Long is Carrie. Her maiden name is Carrie Emmerich. A influencer on Periscope.
And what's Mr. Lin's connection with her?
Similar feeling of harassment from her as well, if I remember correctly.
And who are Sherry and Madison O'Connor?
Two women that helped work social, two of our volunteers at Summit Live.
And what was their connection, Mr. Lin, if any?
Similar, just had to deal with some of his inappropriate comments.
All right, who is Alex Yang?
Alex Yang, he is a tech blogger in New York.
Did he write any articles about Summit or Periscope?
I'm sure he did. He writes a lot of tech-focused articles. I can't recall which ones.
All right, did you have any conversations with him about Mike Lind?
I don't recall.
You'd mentioned that you had formed a nonprofit called Zero Moderation.
I did.
Called what?
Zero Moderation. Was that actually a corporation?
It was only done on social media. It was never incorporated, turned into a LLC or anything.
So is your answer no?
No.
Do you know if it ever qualified for 501c3 status under the IRS code?
No.
All right, so what made you say that was a nonprofit?
Because I never took any profit. We wanted to make it into something.
Are there any other, is there any other harassing conduct that you believe Mr. Lin engaged in towards you or your family that we did not discuss today?
I feel like we covered it. Phone calls, emails, showing up outside my area of work, being where my wife is.
All right, and when he showed up outside your work, that was a one-time occasion?
That's correct. And yes, he did live stream it, talking directly about my name and everything, yes.
Do you have any recordings of that live stream?
Oh, yeah, I believe I do.
All right, can I ask that you produce those?
I can.
Let's do a formal production inspection demand, and/or you and I will stipulate off the record. We're not going to agree to anything on the record.
All right, I mean, I believe it's covered in prior demands. I could serve a supplemental demand, but that's fine.
Yeah, let's just talk once the
All right, and then
deposition's done.
you said that one of the purposes of posting the live stream video about Mr. Lin in February 2016 was to cause Mr. Lin to seek mental health treatment. Is that correct?
I told Mike on multiple occasions that he needed to get off of social and get help.
How is that video, or how is that live stream intended to accomplish that?
Objection is asked and answered. We've covered this already. You can answer the question again.
Do you have an explanation as to how that live stream was supposed to cause Mr. Lin to seek mental health treatment?
I would like to see him be off of social. If there's any way for me to help tell him directly or indirectly to get off social and live life, I'd like to do that.
All right, so the purpose of the video was to get him off of social media, and you believe that that would improve his mental health?
I believe that if Mike, yes.
How do you believe that social media is adversely affecting his mental health?
It's not connecting him to a reality with real interpersonal relationships with family or actual friends.
All right, it's correct that you're a large influencer in the social media realm as well, though.
Yes, and my friends offline are the ones that matter. On social media, it's not that way.
All right, so you believe Mr. Lin would do better to focus on his offline relationships rather than social media?
I think we all would.
All right, thank you. I have nothing further. And I'll propose the same stipulation with respect to the deposition transcript. You have 45 days to review it and so on. It's a slightly different practice in LA, so I'd rather just adopt your stipulation.
Sure, so stipulated. We'll just incorporate the prior stipulation?
All right, that concludes today's deposition. We're now going off the record. The time is 2:48 p.m.